First of all, I want to quickly extend my appreciation to everybody that was on this live session yesterday. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your patience. I'm your real estate investment specialist here in the beautiful city of Lagos, and of course, this is King's Court's Property Matters here on YouTube. Once again, I still want to appreciate everybody that have joined us. In case you're coming across this for the first time, do well to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and let's talk extensively on another important topic. So today we're going to be talking about the major land banking investment errors that every real estate investor should avoid. This is um, a basic knowledge that is very, very necessary. More importantly, to those who are investing in Lagos. If you have invested in Lagos, I would say congratulations to you. And if you are still planning to invest in Lagos, I also want to say congratulations to you. So before I go further, I've received several questions. Who exactly are you? What do you do? Basically, for most of real estate investors, majorly people in the diaspora that has worked with us, I want to start by saying congratulations to you, and I'm also looking forward to assist you in any form of real estate investment that you may be planning to do. So I want to say I can't wait to have you with us. Now, for some of you might be wondering, okay, in case you're looking at maybe any real estate offers, I've been dropping some on this channel. I have majority of them on my YouTube shorts, and of course, for those who may be looking, this still King Scott's property. You can check our Instagram for you to see, the available listings, that we have. And in case I may not advertise the one you want, of course, you can also do well to contact us, and then we'll see how well we can work together. Once again, I want to say congratulations for those who have been following. Thank you very much, and let's go into today's topic. Now, before I go further, let me quickly also say that real estate investment also remains one of the easiest and the best way to create generational wealth. People have done real estate investment and they've built legacies, they've built wealth. So, regardless of any experiences that you might have had, I'm not here to discourage you, okay, from investing in real estate because I am also an investor. I invest majorly in real estate. So, I would say that investing is also one of the best things you can do. So, in as much as fact that it is very profitable to invest, but our job here basically is to ensure that you are doing it rightly. Okay, that's why we're here. So we are more or less like a guide. We put, you investors by sharing important secrets, um, terminologies, and of course, realities of what is going on in the industry, so that when you are investing, you will not be making terrible real estate investments. So on today's live session, I'm going to be talking briefly. I don't intend for this to be very long. I'll try as much as I can for you not to be long. In case I'm long, apologies on my behalf. But trust me, it's not going to be long. So let's talk about the major land banking investment mistakes that real estate investors have made and why you should avoid them. And I'm also going to talk about some of the reputable things. Now, for some time now, I've been looking at major players of this industry in the person of Dr. Olumide Emmanuel. Dr. Olumide Emmanuel obviously is an inspiration, an icon, and not to also mention Dr. Stephen Akitayo. These are, professional and people who have, who am following as their mentor. In case they are not saying this, I'm also doing this for them to understand basically that they are an inspiration to us. And I've seen how they have intelligently invested in different of Lagos. I've studied their real estate investment model, and I can tell you basically that they are one of the best, if not the best. Okay, from what they've done, and from what they are still doing. So I would say basically is that they have done, intelligently well, and this is something that everything. So for me, as far as I'm concerned, okay, they are an inspiration to everybody. I listen to Dr. I follow Dr. Stephen Akintayo a lot. I follow Dr. Olumide Emmanuel a lot. These are, I'll say, the real estate moguls in Nigeria, and of course, they have created, a platform for every other real estate investors to emulate. So, in case you're watching this, you people you're inspiring a lot. Thank you very much. So let's quickly talk about the basic land banking investment mistake every real estate investor should avoid. I have said it before that a lot of people are still doing real estate investment wrongly, and I'm also going to say it again. Please help me with the door. That going forward, um, real estate. So, looking at what exactly are the things that we need to do and how we should approach the industry. First of all, I want to maintain the stand by saying, okay, I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. The industry is very, very saturated. We have a lot of players, we have a lot of developers. I love for the fact that we now have competition in the real estate industry. I love the fact that investors have different wild choices to make if you're buying properties. I love the fact that the industry has metamorphosed, okay, to a system whereby we have a lot of innovative ideas and things. In as much as fact that this is a major advantage, we should also see that it could also be a major disadvantage because recently it has become almost impossible, okay, for government and its parastatals to, supervise and see what some of these new real estate development companies um, are doing. And looking at this, basically, you will also, agree with me that they've been notable cases, okay, of fraudulent activities. We've had real estate development companies selling land, cash it out, moving on. Look at what is happening in the follow axis of Ibejuleki. A lot of people bought properties in anticipation that their investment is going to become one of the best, if not the best, and this obviously has called for major concern. And what is required, if you're a real estate investor, what should you do, and how can you? Let me have that phone, please. How can you? Hold on. How can you, avoid situations like this? So on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the major land banking investment mistakes that you must avoid. In as much as fact that real estate is profitable, in as much as fact that real estate is the best, in as much as fact that real estate is one of the easiest ways, okay, of creating wealth, sustaining wealth, and of course multiplying wealth, it is also very important, okay, to also state here categorically that when investing in real estate, it is very paramount. Okay, let me have it. It is very paramount with that you talk about the things. Please, apologies. I just want to quickly disseminate some informations. Um, Hold on, please. I'm so sorry. Okay. All right. Is it sent? Okay. So, in as much as fact that real estate still remain one of the easiest, tools of bringing wealth. Now, because of the fact that some set of individuals, in the Nigerian real estate industry, we have the active player and we also have people who are in real estate investment for ulterior motives. And today's topic or today's discussion is going to give you three important things that you need to do. So the first aspect of today's life will be explaining extensively on how you can unravel a fraudulent real estate development company. So I'm going to be sharing some of those things. Now, the reason why I can share or I can explain some of these things to you, like I'm doing right now, is because of the fact that I was once a victim, and trust me, most of the experiences we had didn't seem obvious, but to the glory of God, we've been able to overcome. Though some of the investment was not recouped in full, but we've been able to an extent, address some of these things. Only for the fact that the situation sometimes too can be traumatizing. So these are some of those things. So the first aspect is that how can you unravel, okay, or how can you identify a real estate a fraudulent real estate developer, someone who is into real estate for his or ulterior motives. So we definitely want to do that now, and let us share tips. Now, the first thing you want to do basically is that when you are buying, today's emphasis on land banking, okay, uh, you want to go into land banking. I've seen juicy land banking opportunities. I've had different scenarios of people who are bought, people who are still buying, and looking at what has happened or what has transpired over the shortest period of time. So the first thing you want to do basically is that you want to trace, okay, the origin of the real estate developer. Now, when we talk about tracing the origin, this is where you will do what we call profile check. Now, when we talk about profile check, the first thing you want to do basically is that you want to study the antecedents of the company. Okay, you want to understand their vision. Though a lot of people have over time, indicated this is what we stand for, this is what we intend to achieve. But basically, their services are always in contrary to their goals, to their mission and their vision. So don't be carried away with goals, mission, and vision. You want to go to their roots, okay, and you want to see the projects they've done in time past. You see, when we talk about doing a critical analysis of their track record, you want to understand basically that it is not wise, okay, for you to land bank with every real estate development company. So, and by the time you begin to do the due diligence, you begin to trace that track. Now, a lot of real estate investors find it extremely difficult, and I don't blame them, because in a scenario where someone has to work, for some of our investors who are in the diaspora, most of these do a lot of jobs, they have shifts, so it becomes almost impossible, okay, for them to critically check and know what is going on. But you want to check their antecedents, you want to check their profile, you want to check what they have done in time past. Now, when we talk about profile, you want to go to the roots of the properties they've sold. What have they done with it? You want to check how many people have they allocated, and you want to check what is the present condition of some of the properties they've sold. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is due to the fact that this industry is shrouded in what we call excessive branding. Now, the way most of these people will brand those products, the way they will, will do most of those, the adverts and the likes, the oratory and the likes, makes it extremely difficult for you to unravel if they are indicators of what future or present dangers with that investment. So the first land banking investment mistake you want to avoid is that want to have you don't want to land bank with everybody. Yes, you want to. Then the next thing you also want to do is that before you invest, you want to understand the developer's intention for that project. Now, when we talk about understanding the developer's intention for that project, what exactly do I mean by that? Now, the first thing I think you want to do basically is that you want to have an agreement on the developers on what they want to do. Now, when you are interrogating further, you begin to understand the intention while the estate is even being sold. And what does that mean? Now you want to unravel from developer if he's buying to abandon or if he's buying to develop. Now, when the developer says he's buying to develop, you want to find out how soon does he intend to develop. And you also want to find out, okay, if the developers have the necessary approvals. Now, if you are land banking in Lagos, sorry, it's quite excuse me. Now, if you are investing in Lagos, you want to go further to understand if the developers have all the necessary documents in terms of when we talk about documents, I'm talking about in terms of, sorry, it's my daughter, in terms of the building approval, the fencing permits, all the necessary documentation. Now, one of the mistakes you don't want to do is that you don't want to buy from a developer who is going to have issues with government. Okay, you want to do so. Don't just buy because the developers is promising heaven and earth. Buy from a developer that have secured all the. Now in Lagos, as far as land banking is concerned, now land banking as far as Lagos state government is concerned is a serious business, and they've been some levels of let's say some levels of regulations right now as I'm talking to you. So you want to find out that, and you want to ensure, okay, that all these things are being followed. Okay, so that's one of the things. Then the next error you also want to do is that you don't want to land back at every location. You don't want to land back because when you look at the way some of these things is being done, okay, in Lagos, is due to the fact that people are not buying because solely because that the location is promising. Most real estate development buy from where it is available. So now the thing basically is that the level of competition in the Lagos State Real Estate Company has gotten to a situation whereby people buy. Let's say, for instance, company A has bought maybe property A, property B, property C. Okay, so the next available one is property D. Okay, so what happens basically is that the next company will buy property C. So most people are not buying because the location is promising. Most people are not buying because the location offers good return. They are only buying what is available. So it is what is available that is being repackaged and being presented to you. Now, I've seen, several instances whereby people even fine-tune and they share unbelievable lies just to captivate your attention. So the reason why you should not buy everywhere is due to the fact that not all locations will develop. Like the people are saying, some people will develop. There are still some places in the Ikorodu today that is not developed, and it's been 5-10 years right now. Those places tended up to be a nightmare and a disaster. So you want to understand that it is not every location that you should land bank. You should not land bank on every location. Then the next error you also want to avoid is don't buy because they promise future appreciation. Now, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. What guarantees future appreciation is the input of the developer that have sold to you and also the input of you, the buyer. Now, when we talk about appreciation is not rocket science. Appreciation is not what they have promised. Appreciation is based solely on the infrastructures the developers have put on site. For instance, they will tell you the property you bought for 5 million is now worth 8 million. Now, the first thing you want to do basically is that now that the property is now worth 8 million, as most of them are being projected to you, the question is, how many people will buy for 8 million if there is no good road, if there is no electricity, if there is no accessible water? Now, in a situation whereby the location is far from civilization, where you have to drive miles or hours to the location. Now, the question is, how many people will be able to look at those locations and invest? Now, you need to look at the basic things so that you will not be making the same errors. So location or appreciation, okay, is based on all these prominent things. Okay, so looking at this, the important thing that you need to do is that you also want to understand what are the basic things that drives development. You want to look at that. Bring my jotter. So you want to look at what are the basic things that drives development. And one of those things that drive development is infrastructure. So you want to understand, I'm going to repeat this repeatedly so that you can understand most of those things that I've explained. Number one, you have to investigate the brand, check their track record, all their land banking investment, what has become the outcome. Have some of these things be abandoned? You also want to confirm, okay, if all these, if they don't have records of land grabbing, or they don't have records of, just selling and leave. Then number two, you also want to understand that you don't land bank everywhere. Now, if you don't understand, okay, the basics or the infrastructures that is coming, because the truth of the matter is a lot of places has been sold several years after to today, and I can tell you that there is no development till date. So you want to look at what exactly are the basic things, the basic infrastructures of things that are going there. Number three, you also want to look at appreciation. Appreciation is not what is being projected. Appreciation is dependent on the infrastructures, how accessible the place is, what are the do we have electricity in those axes, can how long will it take for investors to start building? So these are the basic things you need to understand. Bring the other chair. This one is too low. Stack it to this one. So these are, okay, the basic things that you need to understand before you land bank with other, real estate companies. So if you have questions, let me know so that we can look at most of these things holistically, and then we interact. So these are the basic things. So number one, understand the brand. Number two, you want to understand their track record of delivery. Number three, you need to understand that it's not all locations that are profitable, though a lot of people will definitely criticize me. Then number three, you also need to understand that appreciation is based on the input of the developer and the input of the owner. So these are the major land banking investment errors, okay, that you want to avoid as you are going fully into any form of real estate investments in Lagos, Nigeria. So at this juncture, I'm going to respond to some of the questions that we have here. I'm going to respond to some of the questions that we have here, and I have them here. So for some of our investors who may want to have questions, you can send your questions to me. Basically, if the land you have in Epe is a freehold, like your land is residential, zone for residential purpose, there is no cause for alarm. If you have bought freehold, like you bought residential properties, you can pick your documents and go and fix your C of O or fix your title if you don't have an arrangement to do so with the developer you bought from. Now, those who are having turbulent times in a present right now are people who bought, I would say, committed properties, okay? And what is happening basically right now is that there's been an announcement from Lagos State government for things to be done appropriately. Now, the new rule right now is that Lagos State government is asking real estate developers and other real estate shareholders that have bought property, that now that you have bought from family and you find out that the property you have bought cannot be used for residential or commercial purpose, come to NTDA, come and rebuy the properties. We will give you allocation and further process the C of O as time goes on. Now, there were some demolitions of some fences of some properties by some real estate companies. Now, what happened basically is due to the fact that a lot of people are making big deal out of it. Now, the cause of that demolition was based on the fact that some of the estates that were demolished, some of the fences that was demolished, were people who government claimed, okay, that they did not have the necessary fencing permits. Now, some real estate development companies have come online to say we have all these permits. I think this demolition, okay, is based on maybe mistakes. Some have even claimed that is a winch Olsen thing, but so these are some of the things that has caused that. All right, so they've